Hello, welcome back to VMint, the home of the mediocre racer. It's been a while. Stuff's happened. Most importantly, the main reason is my best mate Mooch. He got poorly. I want to spend as much time with him as possible. Absolute best mate he was, but yeah, he got poorly and I had to put him to sleep because he was suffering and there was no way I was going to let that happen. So yeah, put him to sleep and he's in a better place now, but he was my best mate, as I said. You know, he was everything to me, and I loved him like you wouldn't believe. Once in a lifetime dog he was. So yeah, that rocked me. But you know, I've had his ashes tattooed in my arm with a little paw print they took when they put him to sleep. So he's always with me now. But that's the main reason. But yeah, that's about that. More about why the video. So as you might have guessed from the title, I've ditched Windows finally. Been thinking about it for a long time, but recent changes that Microslop have made to Windows, yeah, I'm not buying into it. 120 quid I think I paid for Windows 11 Pro, and now they think they own it and they can do what they want with the product I paid for, putting shitloads of adverts in there and AI I didn't ask for, features I didn't ask for. I'm hearing from some sources quite well connected in the industry, shall we say, that Windows 12 is going to be subscription based. I don't do subscriptions. I cancelled Xbox Live, I cancelled PlayStation Plus, I cancelled Disney. Pretty much anything that I had that was a subscription I cancelled because I'm not feeding people's greed that way. It's just not happening. So I'd already moved my laptop to Linux Mint, and I've been thinking about doing the same with my desktop for a while. As it's my main PC and the one that I do this on and the one that I do my sim racing on, I was a little bit nervous about having compatibility with the Moza R12. You know, it's quite a powerful rig, a Ryzen 7 5700 X3D processor, 32 gig of RAM, and I think it's a Sapphire Pure Radeon RX 9070 graphics card. So, you know, it's no flagship, but it's a pretty powerful little beast. And some of the stuff I've got, the Elgato Stream Deck, the Osbot camera, you know, there's lots of little things I've got attached to the PC that I was nervous about if they'd work or not, and, well, they do. Got rid of... There's a load of videos out there where you can see how easy it is or isn't to install Linux nowadays, and it's dead simple. I remember installing Windows and it was probably a whole weekend to install it and get it up to speed. To get Microslop out my life yesterday and put Nobara Linux on there took me 15-20 minutes maybe, and then a couple of hours of fettling and I could start testing stuff on it. The replacement for Moza, what was it called? Pit House, is it? Is a program called Boxflat. Dead simple. The driver for the force feedback's already built into the Linux kernel. Everything else, there's an open source version of the proprietary software that makes it work. And, you know, I haven't really done a race on ACC yet, but it installed incredibly easily. And I don't think I had to really make any changes whatsoever. I can't remember making any changes. Did a quick test. Everything felt fine. Tweaked the force feedback settings a little bit. Still not quite there yet, but it already feels better than it did on Windows. Feels a bit more natural. Can feel what the car's doing. So yeah, that's it. I've completely de-Microsoft my life. And, you know, multiplayer stuff is generally okay unless it's iRacing because they use a cheat level kernel. Kernel level cheat, I should say. So that'll never work on Linux because Linux is too secure to allow people access to its kernel. And a good developer doesn't need to do that anyway. So until iRacing see the error of their ways, see the future that is people moving to Linux and start supporting Linux, iRacing won't be getting my subscription money anymore. But ACC works. I'll do more testing with LMU, Automobilista 2, Race Room, Assetto Corsa Evo, the original Assetto Corsa, and I'm sure I've got some other sim racing games on Steam that I'll test as well. But today it's ACC. First time I'm going to do a full, little quali session and a race. See how it goes. Crew Chief's almost working. I think I just need to make 1 or 2 tweaks to see if it does. But yeah, Nobara Linux to replace Windows for sim racing. Let's see if it works as I expect. So I have been playing this after I'd lost Mooch just to take my mind off things. Make sure the right one's loaded because it doesn't always. Yeah. So if anybody else loads this and feel like the throttle, felt like all my movement was in, if this is all of my accelerator travel, it felt like I was getting it all here. So it's almost like an on-off switch for my throttle. I've done this, which you would think has the opposite effect, but for some reason almost seems to cancel it out and gives me almost full travel. So I've done that there, put that up to 60. Everything else is as you would expect. Pretty much mirrored the Windows settings that I had for Pit House in Box Flat. Seems to be about there. I think I just want a little bit more weight and finesse to it, but it's almost there. I'm not sure if I've ever changed. We'll see. So you can't see it on the screen, but I have got a frame counter, and this is running on a mixture of high and epic settings, and I'm getting 120 frames a second at the minute. CPU's around 50% whilst running OBS as well, so we should be good. Right, let's do some quali. Oh, hello. The AI cars are really not very good at warming up the tyres. Yeah, like I say. I've had a couple of quick biffs around on this to make sure it all seems okay. Not done a full quali or race yet. We'll find out. But I'm pretty much impressed by Nobara. I'd narrowed it down to Bazite, Nobara, Garuda and Cashy LS. Whilst everybody in my kind of circles think that I'm the resident geek, in the world of geeks I'm not. And I knew that Arch was a step too far. So I wanted something that wasn't as out of date as something Debian based, wasn't so cutting edge as Arch, which is Fedora, and Bazaar and Nobara, Fedora based. And I like the look of Bazaar, but it's immutable, which means you don't have quite as much customization and control. And Nobara just seems to be the perfect middle ground. And it's created by the bloke that made Proton, which is why games work on Linux. So he clearly knows his shit. And I'm planning on donating, because I'm really impressed. So we'll do that, yeah. Maybe when I feel comfortable or comfortable with Linux, we'll give Garuda a go, because I did like the look of that. But I cannot fault Nobara. other than my terrible driving, you tell me if you can see a difference between this and Windows. And it feels smoother, and the force feedback feels much more natural, and I've not even finished tweaking it yet. And it's free. Nobara is free. Because that's what Linux is. It's so buttery smooth as a system. So much easier than Windows, so much lighter, so much quicker. Takes so much less. How did I miss that apex? Takes so much less out of the system. We don't want to get a pole anyway, because that'll be boring. Yeah. I wish I'd done it earlier, but I was nervous. Because of, well, everything's built for Windows, isn't it? Surely Microslop know best. The community knows best, and they don't want to own you or charge you or make a subscription for you to be able to do so, or force AI on you, or force adverts on you. They just make it work. I mean, I'm a biker, I love my motorbikes, and the motorbike community is amazing. They all look out for each other. Linux community is the same, just with glasses. They're cool. They are genuinely cool, doing what they do for nothing because it's the right thing to do. They want to look after each other. I think they do. That did not even nearly deserve bowling. I must have not changed from the default 90. I don't know if it's too late now, but you know, I was running at around about 110, 120 frames a second for most of that. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute when it's the race. Catch you in a minute. So this is Nobara in between races. Let's have a quick look at it. So this is your main desktop. It's at 1440p on this 27-inch monitor here. And then on my 34-inch ultra wide, also 1440p, both run at 180 hertz, I think it is. Looks lovely, dead smooth. You've got your applications over here, broken down into sections, or you've got your all sections here in alphabetical. Then you've got all your normal stuff, software updater, etc. And then we've got, this is the pit house from Moza replacement. It's not from Moza, it's an individual developer. He seems to really know his stuff and it's really easy to use. Makes more sense than the official Moza one, if I'm honest. Dead simple. You've got your throttle and your brakes, your bass, throttle and brakes, your wheel, your bass, all there. Play around with as much as you like. Set it up to your liking. Like I say, I've used mostly Windows settings that they say you should use for Windows on the Linux Nobara. Seems to work perfectly fine. OBS, obviously, everybody uses OBS. This one here is essentially a frame counter, like MSI Afterburner, so I can see CPU usage, GPU usage, etc. to make sure I'm not overloading it. Crew Chief here, like I say, it's running. I've not quite got the middleware interface running properly yet, so I can't always hear Jim talking to me. Stream Deck replacement for my Neo. Not quite worked out to get the second page yet, but I'm sure we will in time. But it's set up for the basics for now. So yeah, it's all there. Dead simple, dead smooth, really, really easy to use. I haven't found anything that doesn't make sense. It's all just dead simple. So, back to the race. We're starting a race now. Somebody did just pick me for pole by like 3 tenths, but I shouldn't even be on the front row. That should be mid-pack basically. But just before I binned Linux, binned Windows, I was starting to hit regular 131s and threatening 130s. Hence I'm starting on Zolder again. As a good comparison because it's my favourite track. 12 bar per barometer. Sunshine! Unnecessary. I was high 131, low 132 was my time as I binned off Microslop. We'll see. Like I say, I've not even finished setting this up properly. There's so much more fine tuning to do. Not fully tuned the low tail pedals yet. All the force feedback. I mean, I'm not far off, but there is some tuning to be done, especially with the throttle. We'll see how close I can get. I'm basically almost installed it yesterday, set it up. Tweaked it a little bit today. Because I was on Windows after about 3 weeks in 2 days. I think it might have made a slightly better video if I hadn't got a second. Bizarrely, the same settings there. Notice my ABS and traction control reverted to default, and I do like to slide the rear on it. TC2's too hard. I mean, this is a bit of a poor lap in my opinion. From what I've been doing consistently, not the greatest lap. feels so much more natural on Linux. I can't explain it. Is that the Linux community understanding force feedback better? Is it Microsoft just having too much stuff going on? And honestly, the fan speeds, the temperatures, just running Windows and some Chrome tabs was incredible on Windows. On this, next to nothing. I mean, I'm running OBS, ACC at home, I'm getting 120 frames a second and then forgetting to break. 120 frames a second, forgetting to break. CPU's at 65. GPU's at 80, but GPU does run high and it uses it all. But it's really cold, it's 46 degrees. Feels easier to go quick. Yeah, sim racing on Linux. Better than Windows. For ACC. do miss Jim. I miss him. So there we go. Sim racing on Linux, on Nobara Linux to be specific. Absolutely wish I'd done it a long time ago. I think it's faster, smoother, more realistic. The system runs like butter. Feels, well, it is really stable. I've had absolutely no issues. It's really user friendly. Really pleased I went for a Fedora based one. Ubuntu's just Ubuntu based, Debian based, just a little bit too behind the curve for me, because you need that latest kernel, because I've got pretty up to date gear, especially when it comes to Moza, the graphics card, the chipset, the GPU, CPU, sorry. It's pretty relevant and new for Linux, so I need to have the latest kernel to make sure I'm using it to its best performance. Fedora does that. It still has an up-to-date kernel, still pretty up-to-date with its rolling release, but not quite as bleeding edge as Arch. But with that, I gained some stability with losing that, 2, 3, 4 weeks of bleeding edge ahead of the curve type stuff. But compromise I'm willing to make. So would I recommend Nobara? 100%. Anything that gets rid of Microslop, in my opinion, is a good idea, but different for every user. My advice, if you wanted to try this, is probably if you've got 2 drives in your PC, use one of them, install a Linux distribution that you like on it, and keep Windows there and dual boot. Then if it doesn't work out, you've not lost anything, you've still got all your Windows stuff. If it does work out, you've got a relatively mature Linux system there you can just be comfortable with and bin off Microslop. So, horses for courses. Some people will do what I did and just get rid of Microsoft, because they're a shady business now. They're not a business you can trust anymore. They're not a business that respects the user. They monetize you in ways of making you pay for the operating system, monetize you in adverts, forcing AI on you. The average person doesn't give the slightest shit about AI. I use Gemini when I want to know how to boil an egg. Beyond that, not really interested. Linux, you own it. It's your system. You do what you want with it. You want to break it, Linux will let you break it. You want it to just do what you want it to do, that's what it's built for. You want to find some weird idea that you want to change, I almost guarantee there's going to be another Linux out there, user out there that's thought of it, and they're going to develop a little program that does it. Or somebody will know how to do it. It's just, what a community. Like I say, the tech version of a motorbike community is Linux. It's the best analogy I've got. Bikers love bikers, Linux users love Linux users. It's brilliant. Wholeheartedly recommend it. Like I say, dual booting is probably the way forward for most people. You're not losing anything then if you don't like it. And if you do love it, you've got a system that you've kind of tweaked and got right already before you get rid of Microsoft. Me, yeah, I like to live on the edge a little bit, so Microsoft can do one. Linux all the way for me. Nobara, 10 out of 10, I can't think of the bloke that does it now, but I know it's got egg in it, and they call him Eggy. But if you ever get around to watching this, top marks, mate. This is some distribution. I'm proper impressed. Brilliant. Go for it. Until next time, see you later.